Hi, Internet. I don't actually know why I'm doing this. It's probably the stupidest thing I've ever done, and I'm probably going to regret it after when I wake up. But a few of my friends thought that it would be a good idea to get my thoughts out there since I can't actually talk to people face to face in most cases. Every time I try, I either turn into a bumbling mess and can't make a sentence form. I either turn into a bumbling mess and I can't form a sentence, or it's about my feelings and I feel like I'm being judged. And depending on the person, I either cry or get angry and defensive, neither of which feels particularly great. I can't really help the angry and defensive thing, get that from my mom, and she does the same thing to me all the time. But I still choose to shut myself off from people instead of actually talking to them because I don't want to put myself in a position where I cry in front of people or get angry and defensive, and I don't want to make people feel like they can't talk to me by accidentally snapping at them when I get defensive. Anyways, I'm Dallas. I'm a nerd that's going to occasionally talk about things, I guess, because my friends told me to. Peer pressure. I thought maybe a good place to start would be sleep, partially because I just spent 2 hours watching Dan is Not on Fire videos, and the one he made about sleep made me want to ramble about sleep, especially since sleep is all I ever do lately. I apologize. My sleeping habits are probably the most fucked up on the planet, and as I say this to you now, I've literally become nocturnal for all intents and purposes. Just today, I went to bed at lunchtime and slept until 8 p.m. I have two reasons for this, and they honestly change depending on what kind of day I've had. The first reason, I don't like interacting with people. I grew up in a town where literally everyone hated me and bullied me relentlessly because I wasn't afraid to broadcast what I was interested in, and what I was interested in wasn't what the cool kids were interested in. I keep using air quotes. Why do I keep using air quotes? This means that poor little 9-year-old me would mimic Stitch's voice from Lilo and Stitch around my friends, and then other kids would hear me and get teased, or they would get told and then tease me, which is great. Now that I've basically dropped out of college because of my anxiety problems and relentless bouts of depression, my human interaction skills have gotten even worse because I constantly feel like they know I have failed at being what they consider a normal functioning person and are judging me for it. This feeling doesn't ever really go away with me either. I constantly feel like my parents are thinking the same thing, and honestly, my mother probably is because of the looks she always gives me. I feel like she is. Reason two, the days just don't feel long enough. To elaborate, I'll have a normal sleeping schedule for about 2 days, and then get caught up playing video games or marathoning a television series on Netflix, and the next thing I know it's 8:30 in the morning and I still haven't gone to bed. I don't know why I do this to myself, but I do. However, there is the rare occasion that I actually do try to go to bed at a decent hour, and believe me, the moments are few and far between. But sometimes I try to go to bed, and I'm actually tired and ready to go to sleep, and what does my brain do? Spiders. I know that sounds silly, but I have in my opinion, rational, crippling phobia of spiders. I literally cannot handle being in a room if I know one was in there and it wasn't killed. It's a mental thing because then I'm thinking, oh God, where did it go? Is it going to touch me? I'm going to die. One almost touched me the other day, and I cried. I'll be lying there, and my brain decides to think about spiders, and then takes it a step further and reminds me of every disgusting fact I've ever learned about spiders, and all the ways spiders could attack me while I'm sleeping. One of which is I read a disgusting story on Facebook once about a woman who had a spider stuck in her ear. Yeah. I am aware, like very aware, that most of the spiders where I live are smaller than my thumb, but that apparently doesn't mean a damn thing to my brain. I've literally stayed up for 36 hours and was so tired I could barely form sentences and got into bed, and what did my brain do? Spiders. So of course I couldn't sleep, and I wound up staying up an additional 14 hours because my brain wouldn't stop thinking about spiders. It was one of the worst experiences of my life, if I'm being honest. Another horrible experience I had with spiders, for example, my phone was disconnected upstairs, so I had to go into our basement to use the phone. And my basement is probably the shittiest basement on the planet, meaning that my house is like 200 years old, and there's asbestos on the pipes downstairs. Everything's covered in cobwebs, and I'm terrified to be down there because every time I'm down there, I see at least 30 spiders. I had to call my dad, so I went downstairs, picked up the phone, sat down in a chair, started talking, started to set my foot down, and touched the biggest spider I think I've ever touched in my life. My reaction? I screamed in horror, threw the phone clear across the room, and bolted from the house. And then, once I got outside onto the porch and was away from the spider, I started sobbing because I had touched it. Yeah. I don't know why spiders have to exist. I mean, they're honestly the most fucking disgusting things on the planet, and I hate them. And on a rational level, I understand why they're here, and I get that there'd be a lot more bugs if they weren't here, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. They have too many legs, too many eyes, and they're fucking gross. It's unacceptable. I guess that's all I have to say this time. If you have any comments, leave them below. Even if your comment is just to tell me to shut up because I'm an idiot, go for it. Tell me. Please. I know that actually sounded kind of sarcastic and down on myself, but I was being serious. If you think I'm just being an idiot and shouldn't bother making any more videos, please tell me because I don't want to bother putting in the effort if people think I'm a dumbass. That's just the way it is, I suppose. So I guess let me know what you think.